Okay, it's 9:35. I got in and out of this trade very quickly. I do want to see if maybe it's still holding the uptrending trend line. If I were to draw it right here. Yeah, I guess it is actually still holding it. So this thing can actually maybe get well above $3 if it at least continues to hold on to this line. Maybe it does something where it opens and closes past this uptrending trend line and then all right, I'd be selling actually. Although I might try to regain itself just to play it safe. I do like how quickly this one worked. I was in 25 shares. I think I might have had not as much as I was supposed to. At 9:33 I did buy, and something I've been looking at for a potential dip and rip setup, and something where it starts off, sells off right at the market open, and then it turns around, gets above VWAP, and then makes a really nice move towards the upside, and perhaps even breaks the day high and uptrend some more, is the volume. Sometimes you see like this big sell off right here at 9:30, and then you see like this. It's almost like you can draw a trend line, right? For the volume, it just keeps down. I guess you can't really draw, but it just keeps downtrending. And then once you see a break, and that, it seems like it could try to turn around. Like I've seen that work a few times, but that's something very new. It might not actually be consistent, and I'll keep looking to see if this is something that I might consider looking at in the future. I would be out of this setup right now, even if it can break the day high, which is like 317, and continue more. I did buy again right here at 933, 260, no, 256. 256 was right here. Once we were one, breaking past this downtrending trend line. Two, we were breaking above VWAP. Three, we had that break in the volume, a difference in the volume. And with all those three things put together, and with the fact that it does have like a very crazy volatile chart, I was interested in it. And yeah, it worked out. I did sell just 5 shares at 276, 934 when it was working right here. I sold some right around that VWAP level in case it might just make a quick shoot towards the upside and then it just sells off. Then I sold 10 shares at 292, and that was the same minute. So right here I sold 10 shares, and then I sold the remaining amount at 293 at 935 when it made a move. Now the second time towards $3, but it wasn't able to continue the option, so it was almost like it was potentially, at least in the moment, without making a higher low, top around this $3 level. So I did get out of the rest of the shares for that reason. And it seems like maybe it would have broken an uptrending trend line. I didn't have one drawn at the time, but it was actually still holding it. It was the next minute that it got out, and it managed to hold itself pretty nicely with a move as high as 317 right there before it's selling off like it is right here. There isn't anything I want to do with this anymore. This one was interesting. This was like another one up on the day and everything, and this one got halted. So yeah, I definitely want to be in my trading career. I look forward to the day that I can be in a halt. Of course, in my favor. It must be freaking crazy when it's not in your favor. But yeah, it had a sell off right here, turned around, and this one just got halted. It must have like a very low flow or something like that. That's it for right now. I'll make an update later. GTII is going to make a move, or at least try to make a move to $3. And I'll be watching that, but I don't really like OTCs right now compared to listed stocks. I'll make an update later. It is 10:52 a.m. I had another trade, and this was with BuzzFeed. There was an opportunity for me to have been long right here around 224 when I saw that it had this move under VWAP, had an uptrend, so it can show that it can uptrend, and then we look at a longer term chart. I had this in mind. It looked like it was going to maybe break this momentum and make a move towards the upside. And with that in mind, it was doing this where it had a dip under VWAP. This one was a little crazier, but then it started to hold it. I think it just seemed to be a bit stronger, and again, it was approaching this line where it was maybe going to be a change in momentum. And there was that position right here at 224 where I could have tried. And I didn't want to do it because it just seems kind of iffy. And in theory, it should have been maybe in at 222 once it broke this 221 top right here. And it would have been something where I would have just followed the trend line, and I would have sold once it got out of it, and maybe I would have sold some in the 225s because of the fact that it was a high right here. And yeah, I just hesitated because I didn't want to lose the profits I made with that other trade. And with that in mind, it did downtrend, and now it was looking better because you can see now it's not even touching VWAP compared to here, and it was looking a bit stronger. And I did try this time, and I wanted to play it very cautiously. In theory, it would have been better for me to have been in maybe here at 226 once it broke this range right here, because it's also the same level as this right here, this 225 level. So once it broke past it and it's 226, that would have been a better entry, I think. But I did get in at 230 because it was a high day breakout off of this level. And again, it was holding above VWAP, and it was now holding above this high day breakouts. In theory, this original level here at 225. So it was 100 shares at 1046 right here. Right here at 230, and I was gonna get out immediately if it was going to get back under 230. I guess it did here, but that was after. No, actually, that was before I entered. No, that was definitely after because I would have cut it. Just trading it very cautiously because in theory I thought I should have been in at a much lower price. So even though it was like a setup where it's breaking the day high, I thought this would have been like the better entry for that, now action here floating above VWAP. So I did sell 40 shares at 233, and that was at 1047 right here. And then I decided to hold on to the rest for a trendline break. But what happened is that every single tick higher had a lot of sellers at the ask for something like this, where it would have like a big 40, 50, 60,000 share seller, and it was going through a lot of volume to get above the 230s. And I didn't like how at 1048, which is going to be right here, the volume just wasn't continuing. You can see the volume was uptrending here. It had more and it had more, and there were like all these sellers at the ask. In theory, if it's going to be like a short squeeze and explode, it's going to have even more volume. But when we had that drop in volume, I got out even though it was still following the uptrending trend line, and I did get out at 1048 at 234.5, so right around here. And 2 minutes later, it opened and closed officially below the uptrending trend line. So I would have cut it right then and there anyway. That was more of a judgment call. I don't really regret that too much. The sell again, because in theory, if it's going to break out, there's going to be a lot of volume because shorts are getting squeezed, so on and so forth. This almost looked like a bull flag setup, but now it's selling off a bit too much, and it has quite a distance from VWAP that it might try to fill. That's it for right now. I don't think I'm going to trade anything else. If I am, I'll make an update. If not, when the market is closed after everything has traded, to see how everything ended up being. This one is too scary to trade for me because it halts. This one isn't doing anything nice because it's not holding above VWAP, so no setups to go long. And this is actually a stock I remember trading a super long time ago, in like 2016 or something like that, when it had a big run up. A really long time ago. That's it for right now. I'll make an update again later. If not, when the market is closed. There isn't anything else that I'm interested in trading. This one has been selling off again under VWAP, so no longer something I want to be long. Yeah, I'll make an update then. Right, it is 8:39 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on a day. I think, let's just make sure and get the number at least from here. $12.19. That was 2 trades with HSCS, and the second trade BZFD. And they were nice. They both pretty much did what I wanted it to do, but I did leave some money in the table because there were a few setups that I could have taken that I didn't do. I was watching a panic here with GTII, and there was a time when I was interested in getting right when it was looking like it was going to break above this range right here. I think it was 238, and I just hesitated because I've seen so many OTC stocks fail. They have a downtrend and they just don't bounce, and this one did bounce, and it was also sketchy because it was a very wide risk level where I would have been in right here, and I would have cut the trade if it were to have broken under the wicks here. And then going from a $10 risk level to a $100 risk level with OTCs, I just kind of felt uncomfortable with it, but it did work out, and it even got to VWAP, which was pretty profitable. So this sort of would have worked out. And I think, no, I don't have it anymore saved as to how many, um, yeah, shares I was interested in trading. I think it was 150 shares, but I'm not extremely sure. Yeah, I think it was 150. This one did play out and everything. And then this one also sold off. I was watching this one for a potential morning panic bounce play. This one did it later in the day, which is not good. It's not, the most ideal. And it did bounce right here, but this would have been too hard to trade. This thing just turned around. Just, not even a wick. Just straight up hit a bottom and turned around the next candle. Seems like something very hard to trade. And then it had another drop, which would have been a bit more proper. I just wasn't a part of that one. So I did miss out on this one. I don't regret missing out on this one. This one I might not have traded even if I was watching it. I did miss out on this one and I was watching this, so I could have done better with this one. And then I did have an opportunity with this one. It was nice when it broke above VWAP again. I'm not really watching stocks to regain itself above VWAP, but there was a point when I was watching it right here where it was like ascending triangle and it was trying to break above this high, which is right around here, 317, so roughly 320. And this one did play out and it made a move towards the upside. Just a very awkward time to do it. Normally, if it's going to do something like this, it does it around 12. This one did it a bit later in the day, and I do regret it. There was that point when I saw it drop and it had this little wick right here and it held onto this uptrending trend line that I was adjusting several times. This could have been a setup right here and it did work out and I could have been profitable with that. Could have been profitable trading GTII. I probably wouldn't have traded this one just because it's weird. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I could have had those two more trades and I could have been even more profitable. As long as Monday, the listed stock market is about the same, the setups seem to, continue the work, and there are like these nice gap up stocks that I can trade. I will move up to a $20 risk level with listed stocks, and I'll continue forward. But I'm pretty thankful for the trades I had here and the lessons. That's it for today. Hopefully, I can keep doing better, God willing. Definitely nice to have those two setups that played out, and then on top of that, see things where I could have done better, which in this case was trading more setups that I was looking at, but I hesitated, and I'm glad I saw them work.